How you doing, everybody? I'm Stranger Stamethis, and welcome back to the Sonic Generations Projects playthrough. So, apologies for the very sudden stop last time. To make up for that, I'm resisting gushing endlessly about how they converted Silver's part into the hub world to get straight into Crisis City. And as you can see, we're on the snowboard again, and my god, I think that speed up skill is really showing its effects here. I mean, with White Acropolis and that, there's quite a few twists and turns in the snowboard route. But the boarding bit of Crisis City is pretty much a straight line, so you can end up going so fast. I mean, look at this! It's awesome! Bloody Iblis monsters just chilling out, all of a sudden Sonic just shows up like, whoa, coming through, and before they know it, everyone's just gone, they're just dead, they're annihilated. The amount of times I started over on this bit just because I kept going so fast that I ended like either boosting off a building or just... I think there was one part, that little bridge bit at the end, where I completely missed the rail. I sort of boosted underneath the rail by accident and just flew off into the lava below. It's so much fun. Speaking of the rails, one part of the level the 06 project has unfortunately been unable to fix as of yet is the whole switching between the rails with the analog stick functionality. Sonic kind of just jitters around a lot if you try and switch rails with the analog stick. You actually have to do the authentic 06 thing of trying to jump or homing attack to the other rails. I can only guess that that's something to do with the rail meshes themselves and, you know, converting their functionality to the Hedgehog engine as seen in Generations. Maybe because they're working with the vanilla 06 assets, there must be some difficulty setting up the switches between the not quite parallel rails. Because I think, come to think of it, I'm fairly sure that all the sort of multi-rail segments in Unleashed and Generations have each rail you can switch to pretty much being exactly parallel when they're like not going into a loop or something like that. You never know though, I'm sure Brianna and Co will be able to work their magic with it at some point. Alright, and now we're coming up to what must be two of the coolest mid-level transitions in the 06 project. Just got to get around the loop, blast across here, and bam! Into the third section. Ah yes. Now don't laugh, when I was recording this I thought to myself, oh my god, I'm doing alright actually, and at that point, as soon as I thought that, I seemed to go a bit cocky, at which point I then fell and died immediately. 200 rings gone in the blink of an eye. But we must press on, we must complete Crisis City. Having said that though, my god, I got really unlucky with this bit for whatever reason. After that, just then I thought to myself, well, you know what, I'll have a go, I'll try and get the rainbow ring. Here we go, I'm gonna jump, I'm gonna do it. I didn't do it. Stranger Stamethis will not be getting any rainbow rings today. I think what happened there was I tried to jump just a wee bit too late, like I didn't see the end of the pathway coming and, you know, I pressed A right as I started falling or something like that, so of course, you know, no jump. And then somehow my luck came back. This was a point where the lack of camera control in Sonic Generations almost like messed me over, but it turns out that platform seemed to have some sort of homing attack target in it, so maybe the Peeps developing the 06 project planned for that particular situation? I'm not sure. And unfortunately I then proceeded to fall off again, so yeah. I don't know why I'm so bad at this bit in particular, but at this point we're so close to the end I thought I might as well just take the hits to get through it. Speaking of which, all we've got to do now is bounce off these things, get loaded into a cannon, and get shot straight into the max speed section. Now you might remember back in the first part of the 06 project I mentioned that the max speed sections were improved, partially because you could slow down a little bit if you wanted to. Not for the Crisis City max speed section, because my word, there is still so much stuff in your way that now hurts you if you crash into it, like the cars and whatnot. So you want to be boosting to like try and, you know, the crates are around, all that sort of stuff, but you know, you want to be boosting to break through them. But there's also a few bits involved like the pipes and containers that will still cause you damage, and they can't be destroyed just by boosting through them, so you got to get on your quick step game as well. That's not to say this bit isn't still really enjoyable though. Having the quick step makes the sections where the camera looks behind you and you're trying to dodge the cars that the tornado keeps throwing out, it makes that bit a lot less tricky, even though I'm not at all demonstrating that here. And, you know, overall the whole section's still really intense and really fun. Once again, made a lot better by its implementation in the 06 project. And after that vehicular hailstorm with streams of rings going all over the place before quickly collecting more, we make it to the goal ring. You know what? I'll take a B. Cutscenes.
No matter where we go, all we see are ruins. How can this be our future?
How could it come to this?
Could it be true? If I eliminate that guy, will our world be saved?
The day of disaster. Here are my records of this event. This was when Iblis was freed, and his flames were released into the world. And you have this person to blame.
I see it! So that blue hedgehog's the Iblis trigger?
Blue hedgehog.
That's kind of weird. Blaze saying that. I've always wondered what the intended meaning was behind that. Because, of course, originally, before it was sort of retconned in this, she was just a princess from another dimension who ends up meeting up with Sonic in Sonic Rush. But I don't know, considering this was meant to be sort of a reboot continuity, in terms of the world outside of the game, I know it's probably meant to be just like a cheeky little reference to Sonic Rush, but in world, does her saying that imply like she might remember him, or is she just confirming as in, oh okay, we've got to find a blue hedgehog, not knowing who he is?
Terrible. According to the data, the princess died when
Oh my god, I just realised they modelled Tails' little canine teeth, that is adorable.
Battleship exploded. The date of this incident was 2 days after the Festival of the Sun.
If we don't return in time, Elise will die on board Eggman's battleship. That means...
Yeah, I think so.
You guys are so slow. Look.
A Chaos Emerald! You've already found one!
Well now, I may not look it, but I'm a real treasure hunter. Unlike a certain echidna I know.
Oh, allo required, MLG air horns all over the place.
Have you guys discovered anything?
Yeah. I received a signal indicating there's a Chaos Emerald here, but...
You mean we've got to go through there?
If you don't like it, you can stay here.
You've got to be kidding.
Don't be late. Same to you.
Alright, going straight into Flame Core. Now, Flame Core was a level I quite enjoyed in Vanilla 06, pretty much because of the sort of the really nice atmosphere the level set with its music, its setting, and its lighting. Now, as you can see, the last of those isn't quite fully implemented in the 06 project just yet, but that doesn't stop the improved gameplay it brings, letting the overall design of the level shine through once again, particularly when it comes to any parts where you have to run along a wall. Because once again, not wanting to be horrible to the original devs, but those parts were tense for all the wrong reasons in Vanilla 06, but it's greatly improved in the 06 project. Yeah, that's one really weird little oddity with this level in particular. It doesn't happen on any other levels to my knowledge, but this plus just shows up on the screen at certain points. I can only assume it might be some sort of maybe leftover debug thing from the scripts or whatever, but you know, it's just funny. You just go along all of a sudden, plus, look out, plus, edition. Now, I had the chance to go through the ring there, but I didn't take it because I had to do the light speed dash to get up to it, and at that exact moment my mind was just like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Failure, death, lava, pain. Oh well, speaking of which, we can't stop now. We've got to rise, we've got to get out of here, take out this Iblis Phoenix and get on to the next area. Just dash along here, sneaky grab the Silver Soliana medal, take these two out. Bounce up here where we find ourselves in a wee bit of a monster party. I must admit, in moderation, I do like these sections where there's just a whole bunch of monsters to take out before you can move on. I guess once again, I just like the idea of Sonic just appearing out of nowhere and destroying absolutely everything in front of him. Just like, cease your deeds, evildoers, I'm gonna take you out. Homing attacks all over the place. Oh no, that's just made me think. I've been playing a bit of Enforcer Police Crime Action lately, ever since it turned up in a Humble Bundle. It's kind of like a standalone Liberty City Police Department. It's still really enjoyable, even if it doesn't have quite the same ridiculous freedom of violence as a Liberty City Police Department. But I'm just picturing a mod for Enforcer where you're playing as Sonic, just homing attacking cars to pull them over, like slide kicking criminals. Oh, it'd be so good. But that game's made on Unity, so no mods. I think you're allowed to retexture the car though, so that's something. I might make it look like the tornado. There you go, perfect. Anyway, getting back to what's actually happening on screen, we've got to use a few springamajigs to get up there and start traversing the molten lava. Now this part coming up is another area where I think the modders knew that Sonic's platforming way, even with the adjustments the 06 project seems to make, it would make jumping between these floating rock platforms quite difficult because there's a bunch of items floating about that you can use your homing attack on to sort of help yourself out getting across particular gaps, which is really useful. Especially because the fact they give 1-ups, so that especially helps considering that every 1-up in the 06 project respawns every time you die, so as long as you can make it back to the item container that originally had the 1-up, you can get it again. Essentially means you can't die, or at least you can't get a game over. And I really like that because, especially just because the 06 project's still in development and this is like just technically a demo. So it's almost like they're giving you that as compensation for any potential bugs or glitches you might end up dying to. Though I can't really say I've had that happen anyway, because pretty much all my deaths have usually been down to my own incompetence, so in any case, the infinite one-ups are very much appreciated here. Alright, just gotta grab the 10 rings, press the button to unlock both that one-up and the gate. Just getting slightly stuck on a bush, it's all good. Alright, so this thing here, yeah, oh, hello. Alright, so this bit here, the part they've recreated there, that was a part in the vanilla 06 where you actually did need to make a light speed dash over a bottomless pit, which is always a terrifying prospect in quite a lot of Sonic games, but especially this one, because in 06, when you first play Flame Core, you don't have the bounce bracelet, which is bound to the same button that you use to activate the light speed dash. You can probably see where this is going already. So whilst you were fine doing that bit on your first run through, if you decided to come back for an S-rank or something like that, you'd be doing great, and then most likely, all of a sudden, if you're anything like me, with like hideous luck when it comes to that sort of stuff, you would press the button, the game would think apparently you weren't close enough to the start of the Trail of Rings, and you just like bounce bracelet yourself into oblivion. You just drop like a stone. It's like, no, why? I've actually mentioned this before. I mentioned this back when we were doing the Unleashed project, but like, why would you bind it to the same button as the bounce bracelet? Why? But in any case, it's time to slide through all these Iblis creatures and get into the volcano.
Oh, here I go! My God, flying through the air! Wow, cool!
And here we are inside the volcano. Must admit, one of the first things that struck me about this part in 06 was the music. The sort of smooth, bassy intro followed by that kind of like ethereal soundscape that comes in after. It does a lot for that, the atmosphere of the level, sort of as I mentioned at the very start of the stage. It goes back to the electric guitar like a little bit after as well, so that first part kind of helps to establish the volcano's inside as a new part of the stage. Yeah, put simply, I quite like it. Getting some use out of that blooming speed up skill as we go around here. And grabbing one of, I think, only about, like, 2 invincibility power-ups you can find in Sonic's story. Oh gosh. With the default Sonic Generations invincibility music, which sounds really out of place here for some reason. I think that might be the case, pretty much just because I took off the separate mod that brings the invincibility music and end-of-stage music from 06 into 06 Project, because I was trying to fix a series of infinite loads I kept getting, and I kind of forgot to put it back on. What you gonna do? Anyway, speaking of the music, Sega seem to have a pool of superb composers on hand. I've come to see Sonic games having good music as more of a given than a marketable point. It's almost like Final Fantasy in that regard. I mean, even with something like 06, one thing people can generally agree on was that whilst the rest of the game, well, to put it politely, didn't live up to its potential, the music was great, and I must admit there are so many tracks I love on the 06 soundtrack. I mean, I'm even enough of a Sonic music nerd that I actually have a few of the event themes, like the soundtrack to the cutscenes on my MP3 alongside the other tracks in the game. Some of the cutscenes just have this really nice backing music to it, like quite a few from Silver's campaign actually. Some of the more sort of, I'd say, the introspective moments in Silver's campaign, like the one where he's asking Blaze, like, is this really the right thing to do? The little guitar/string part in the background is just really cute at that point, so I don't know, there's some pretty good music just hidden in amongst the big themes from the soundtrack. Alright, so here we're in the cave that you originally played through with Knuckles, where you gotta go around and like activate all the purple orbs, which in this instance, it's just buttons, but I believe, judging by a video Biano put up on his YouTube channel, apparently they have actually figured out a way to get the purple orbs to work, so there we go, extra authenticity. Now I did crossfade there because you probably noticed I'm going through the same part again. What happened was, quite embarrassingly, on my first run through at that point, you might have seen I jumped past that bit with the boxes. The way those boxes are arranged, especially with the little exploding one, which would have blasted away all the other wooden blocks, it was painfully obvious that the last button was there, but I missed it. And unfortunately, that meant I had to backtrack, which also meant fighting the pre-programmed camera, so I was making a lot of mistakes and whatnot, and it added nearly a minute of extra, completely useless footage to that particular section, so I do apologise for skipping that particular part of the level, but obviously no offence intended to the modders. They've already done a great job converting that Knuckles section to Sonic, but I just didn't want to show all my backtracking in that cave, as it would have added quite a bit of extra time to this video. On the bright side though, past the goal ring, come on, how we do? Oh, it was worth it, it was all worth it. Beautiful, right, so that's Flame Core. Right, up next we have the Iblis boss fight, and I believe the next part might be the last one, because I think after that it's just Radical Terrain remaining. So, I'll see you guys next time for what may be the last part of the Sonic Generations Projects playthrough. I've been Strange Amethyst, and thank you very much for watching.